The HVAC Uncensored podcast is brought to you by Yellow Jacket. Guys, if you have not checked out Yellow Jacket's new products out, you have to take a look. I know you guys have heard a lot about their digital gauges. You got the P51 860, which is it's kind of the lower end of the digital manifolds. You know, it's just got the monochrome display, but it is all digital, has all the refrigerants, the temperature clamps, all that good stuff. Or you can step up to the big boy, the P51 870, which this thing is like the Cadillac. This one's going to have the 4.3 LCD screen. It's all touchscreen, does data logging, a vacuum sensor. I'm currently reviewing this now, and guys, this thing is sweet. I can honestly say, after having my hands on it, it's a really, really nice manifold. I definitely highly recommend it as of now. I haven't found anything bad to say about it. I really haven't. And that's me speaking honestly. Also, like I've said before, you guys know that I've always been a big fan of the H10, but when it comes to leak detectors, you got to check out the Yellow Jacket UV leak detector. When it comes to 410, this thing is sweet. This thing finds leaks quick, fast, in a fucking hurry. So it's definitely something I recommend you guys checking out. As always, they have the faithful, the Yellow Jacket bullet vacuum pump, the 7 CFM 2-stage. That has been my go-to vacuum pump for several years. I keep wanting to try out these new ones, but I just can't let that thing go because it's been rock solid for me. So as always, give Yellow Jacket a try. You can check them out at www.yellowjacket.com. And guys, always remember, 66 years of expertise built into every tool.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fucking-men. God bless the USA.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelly McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelly.
Guess who's back? Back again. Oh yeah, baby. Back from vacation feeling fucking rejuvenated. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Welcome to episode 9 of the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Feeling good. Back from vacation. Rejuvenated. Working like a motherfucker right now, but feels good. Kelly, how are you, brother? How you
doing?
Doing
good.
Man?
I'm pretty sure that we are on episode 10. So I'm pretty sure we're 10.
Yes, you are right.
But
you are correct.
Awesome.
I am
That's
wrong.
That's what I thought. Because I just remember last time we recorded, just last week, I just 9, because I remember saying something like nueve or something. I think that's number 9 in Spanish. But anyhow, I'm doing good, other than this rain that you had just a couple weeks ago in your area has made it to my area. And all the hot weather that we had last week has now moved to your area. So I'd like to just trade you back and finish my summer off like you're finishing yours off.
Yeah, I bet, man. That that rain sucked. It is hot as a fucking whore here right now, dude. It is like crazy for September, man, for 98 degrees. I came back off vacation to a shit storm. Like me and you talked about off air. It's great. Having this little burst of money coming in at the end, we're generating a lot of installs. People, I guess, that thinking they were going to be able to hold out till next year aren't holding out. So it's great. I'll take it. But I mean, hell, I didn't get home till 10 o'clock last night, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Work late tonight, because when we get this overflow, I'm out doing calls. I'm not just sitting around. And I'm actually going to help cover on call this weekend. So I just already expect that it's going to be busy as all hell. But I know how you feel, man. That rain sucks.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, have you checked the forecast? Is it going to be warm this weekend, going into the weekend? The temperature is going to maintain that upper 90s?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm going to check it again right now. I'm pretty sure it is actually no. It says tomorrow 94. Oh shit. Here comes the rain back here. Look, God, fuck you, Kelly. You said something about the rain. So now Friday it says 83 and thunderstorms, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all has rain in the forecast, and the highest temperature is 86 degrees. So maybe we better enjoy this little spurt while it's here, because it might be gone fast.
Man, that's what I'm telling you. Like last week was great. The weather, we had like 3-4 days of like mid 90s, and it was the same way. The heat index was like, 100 or a little over, and spurred a lot of work, and now it's gone. And now we're, obviously we're getting deeper and deeper into September. I just don't expect it to come back. So we're probably done with summer here in the Midwest.
Yeah, you're right. And we'll probably be done after this, but hopefully it spurs enough to, how you get like that residual work after that hot spell. So
that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing right now is the stuff that happened. Whenever it's hot, it just makes shit happen. Things happen, shit breaks, and shit needs to be replaced. And so that's what we're still working on now. That's why I got some equipment sitting out in my shop, is because of the stuff that happened last week from the warm weather spurt that we had.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we get that. We have had some installs generated, so that's good. So if we can get through this week with the calls, and I know there's some people we got to get back to for like leak searches, cleanings. So I know we have some PMs scheduled starting like the end of September, beginning of October. So if somehow this can create enough work, residual stuff to keep us at least filled in for a little bit, that would be great, because we have it starting to come up where we're going to start sending our guys to classes. We actually had 2 of them that went today, which was a horrible day to be in class, but the owner, he booked this class like 6 months ago, not thinking it was going to be fucking 98 degrees in September. So it was a good class, and he wasn't trying to lose the money, and it was good for the guys to be there, but trying to hold up and get the work done while they were in class it kind of sucked. I mean, the owner was out doing calls. I mean, it was all hands on deck. When you got something like this, you got to do what you got to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's something he could have never have, planned, that it would be that hot on the 5th of, we didn't get a record last night, so it is Wednesday night. So it's the 5th of September, and you'd never guess it's going to be 98 degrees on the day. But we're the same way, man. We got training coming up, and one training that actually I'm going to, and I'm super excited about, because it's put on by the Disney Institute. And they're just doing one class. It's one day, and it's just like on employee engagement. And that's something that I need to learn more about. And it's something that we could all benefit from as managers and owners. So I'm super stoked, because they've got some of like Disney culture is unbelievable. Like, just go search Walt Disney culture on YouTube, and the videos that pop up, they'll just blow your mind. I mean, they have figured this out. And that's why everybody who ever goes to Disney, if you interact with any of the people that work there, I mean, they're there to provide you with an experience, and they go above and beyond, and it's amazing. So I'm really excited to learn some new things about it. I mean, I know a lot about it, and I've got a pretty good culture, but it can always improve. So
yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Well, 2 things. I know exactly what you're talking about, because like I think I told you, my in-laws are in Disney right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're Disney people. They have like timeshare through Disney. Like, they are like all into it. My uncle works for Disney. So yeah, I know all about that. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I agree 100%. But that class, do they like come to you, or do you have to like go to Disney for that class?
No, it's just coming to Wichita, which is the big city next to me. I'm in a little small town called Augusta, but just I don't know, 10 miles straight to my west is Wichita, and there's, I don't know, Wichita and surrounding the Sedgwick County area is probably like 600,000 people, something like that. So it's way bigger than my little town of like 9,000 people. And they're coming to Wichita State University. So it's just a 1-day class. I think it's put on by one of the, it's like Wichita. I can't remember the name of the company that's putting it on, but it's like a small business place, you know. They just do little seminars once in a while, and yeah, I think it'll be cool. It's was fairly expensive. It's me and my general manager. I signed him up for it too because he's dealing directly with the guys, sometimes more so than I am. So, I mean, I deal with the guys every day with like on service and stuff like that if they need help. But there's lots of days where they don't need help, and so anyhow, I know it's going to be cool because they're like the best at what they do, and they've got to have some stuff to teach me. So, but we also have like it's like the perfect service call or something like that. It's some more training coming up put on by our supplier. So all the guys are going to that. We split it up into. No, I think those are all the same day, so I think we're going to be kind of screwed. We'll just have to shut the company down when that happens. But there's also training for variable speed condensers, and I think that's in October. And luckily, they're doing the same class for 2 days in a row, so we're going to split everybody into 2 groups, and that way we'll at least have a skeleton crew each day while the others are at class. So lots of training. Now's the time to get the training, right?
Yeah, definitely. We'll start doing all of our carrier stuff. That some classes we have to take, to be factory authorized dealers. We have to stay, and some of the classes, we have to stay up on those, especially all the new stuff that came out. I mean, I've taken a lot of these classes like fucking, 10 times, but one thing I can say is I will learn something new every time I take the class. Like you walk away with a little piece of something every time. So it's definitely good. And normally it's only like 8 to 12. So you're just there in the morning and then guys can go do calls later on. So it works out pretty good. And then you have the other classes. One that we've talked about, and guys, I had them on the podcast when I was with, on the other podcast, and they're going to be on here as well. But they're going to get ready to start going on their tour if they haven't already, is the heat exchanger experts. Christopher and Russell do a fucking amazing job with that class. You guys, if you've never taken that class, you need to look it up, see if they're going to be doing classes in your area. If they are, it is worth the money. I guarantee you go to that class and you will leave there being like, holy fuck. It is an awesome, awesome class. And I'm going to check the schedule because if they come around here again, we're going to go just because it's that awesome. And I know some things change. They have a book that give you that. The book alone, they sell for like $150 and it's $150 and it has almost every, furnace in there and tells you where it cracks, where to look, different places to feel, all kind of stuff. It's the knowledge and information in that book is fucking, it's priceless. So not to, hell, I do want to give them a shout out because those guys, I became friends with them. I keep in touch with them and they're definitely going to come on the podcast here shortly. I was just kind of waiting for us to start getting into heating season. It's kind of hard to talk to the heat exchanger experts in the middle of AC season, but, yeah, definitely going to check them out. Does Train make you guys like have to take classes or is it all just you?
The only time they've actually made us take classes, two different things is I've got to send a couple of guys to Omaha, Nebraska, because that's where they do all the Mitsubishi training. So in order to maintain diamond dealer status this year, unless we have a huge spur of sales, we sell We sell a few, but we just haven't sold a ton of mini splits. But the class is really, really good. It's like hands-on, and so I got to send a couple of guys there before the end of the year, and that's just to maintain the diamond dealer status. But which gives you like extra years of warranty. You get like a 12-year all parts warranty versus the regular 10-year if you're a diamond dealer, stuff like that. But as far as the just like mandatory classes, the only thing that I can think of is there was one class. I'm having a brain fart. I know that there it goes. No, the people who put on the same class that you're talking about here, I think they're just called like furnace consultants or something like that, or safety consultants, and they were out of Kansas City, Missouri, I think. But it's the same type of class. You get a great big book that's got all the patterns, because all these heat exchangers crack in a pattern. They tend to be weak in a certain specific spot for that particular design. Oh, here's the class I was trying to think of is in order to be able to, like when they first came out with the variable speed condensers, they've got like the 701 step compressor or whatever it is that's in them. These, we had to take a class in order to be able to purchase one. So this is just the same class that they've already done, but I've got guys that need to go to it, and we haven't sold that many, and we need to sell more. So the ones that we have installed have been really easy to install and have had no issues with them whatsoever. God, I'm long-winded tonight, man. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So we do that.
Sorry, I'm long-winded tonight. Jesus.
Yeah, you are. Jesus, shut the fuck up,
shut
Kelly.
the fuck up.
Fucking.
That's
what I was saying. Shut the fuck up, Japper Jaws. Jesus. Yeah, no, it's the same with us. I mean, we regularly take those classes, so we're pretty good, but it's the same way. In order to sell that high-end stuff, they have to make sure that you've been certified and talk about it before they let you go put it in and buy it. So it's the same concept. Does Train make you like at least one person have to be NATE certified?
No.
I know Carrier does that.
No, there's no NATE certification.
Well, I wish Carrier did. Yeah, because
you know what? I think that NATE started off as a great idea, and I'm not trying to, don't get me wrong. Anybody out there that takes NATE super seriously and loves NATE, the only thing I'm saying is I just don't believe in having to pay to keep your certification. Like there's so many trainings within NATE that why can't you just keep growing and growing your certifications in it? Why do you have to keep paying or retest? I know it's something to that degree. And when I found that out, I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. It's just a way for them to make money. So it's not that it's not a great deal, but what's your take on that, Gil?
No, to be honest, I agree with you fucking 100%. And like I was saying, I only have it because we have to, because at least one person has to hold all of the NATE certifications. Carrier makes us do that. I have a couple of guys that have a couple certifications, but they don't have all of them like I do. Well, I have all the ones that I need for what we do. I guess I think that any certification you can have under your belt is a good thing to have. So anybody who has them, it's good. I'm not knocking it. Do I think it's necessary? No, I don't. But any kind of schooling, any kind of piece of paper that you can have under your belt that says you know something about something is always a good thing. I'll say that first and foremost. But I don't think that you can't be a good tech without having a NATE certification. And like I've talked about before, some of these guys get their NATE certifications and walk around, and I've seen this firsthand, it'll be 100 fucking degrees outside and these guys are wearing long sleeve shirts so they can have all their patches down their arm. Like who gives a fuck? That doesn't mean anything. I know some guys that have NATE certifications that they're book smart, but they might as well shove the wrench in their ass because they can't fix anything. So that doesn't really mean shit to me. So
how do you really feel about it, Gil? Tell us. No.
Don't even
into
it. It's like,
when you see all those patches, it just means that they paid a lot of money to get those patches. That's all I see. So,
well, yeah, you're probably right.
But I'm not knocking it. I feel the same way. You're bettering yourself, and hey, if that's the way and the path that you want to go to better yourself, go for it. I'm not going to knock that because that's a great thing. But
Yeah, and
I don't like the fact that they want you to keep re-upping and paying to recertify in the same stuff that you've already been through.
yeah, it's capitalism. It's just money generating. Just
Yeah.
keep having to get money on it. That's all it is. It
Yeah.
is bullshit. I agree with that. But while we're talking about these classes real fast, man, to all you guys out there, if your company is not sending you to classes, if you really want to better yourself and you're new guys, I know most companies normally do something, I would like to think. Do it yourself, man. Invest into your own fucking career, invest into yourself. Google, look up classes near me and take these classes, man, or work it out with your owner. Be like, hey, I really want to take this class. Is there any way like you'll split it with me? Or like you can pay for it and take it out of my check, like, a weekly thing or something, put that, invest into yourself, guys. These classes are going to help you. I mean, if I see classes and I'm able to go to them, I'm there. I mean, whatever you can do to help better yourself, it's how you're going to advance in this trade, man. And we've talked before about making sure you're doing all that kind of stuff. So it's getting ready to be like the slow seasons is normally class time. That's when they're going to start filling in classes. Not too many places are putting on classes in July and August. So now is the time you need to be looking for that stuff. And hey, you got a day that the boss says, hey, man, I ain't got anything for you today. And you say, hey, there's a class. Fuck it, go to class. I mean, I know normally you got to register and shit like that for it. So I'm just using that as an example. But that's the time to do it, man. Better yourself. So maybe you start to get a little bit better at diagnosing things. And maybe now you're not the guy that gets sent home anymore. Hey, man, this
Absolutely.
he's really been taking off, man. His invoices are up. He hasn't been getting stubbed on any calls. And fuck, we're going to send fucking,
Jimmy. We're going to send Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to send Peckerhead Willie home and send Jimmy to this call. You know what I mean? So, and that's how it works. You got to keep getting better. There's no such thing as staying the same. You're either getting worse or you're getting better. You're either first or you're last.
Shake and bake. So anyhow, but yeah, if you want to, hey, and I'll tell you what, check out Super Service at www.hvacserviceready.com, because I'm telling you, if you follow Super Service, you will get more reviews, get higher tickets, make customers extremely happy, get them to where they're writing notes to your boss saying, hey, Jimmy did a great job. I'm so thankful that he came out and solved our problem. I mean, it works, and it's just simple stuff, but I'm telling you, if you apply it, it works. So check that out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I've spoke my piece on that. I would love to interview the guy who designed those programs, but I heard he's kind of an asshole and he's hard to get in touch with, right. But his programs are really, really good though.
I'm not hard to get a hold of, for sure.
You guys obviously know I'm kidding.
But yeah, no, anything that betters yourself, anything that you take. I mean, go take a leadership class. It doesn't even have to be HVAC related. Find something in your area that's happening. There are classes and programs happening in the evening everywhere around the biggest city next to you. Even if you're in a little small town, there's got to be a city not too far away, hopefully, that you can go travel at night. And it's probably 3 hours a night for like a couple weeks. Or I took like an 8-week course that was just like on entrepreneurship. And I like to get in, it was like $100 or something. But I learned some stuff in there, and that's what it's all about, is just finding stuff that's going to make you better. There's leadership training, there's whatever, organization. You just got to look for it. Usually, if you have a university in your town, there's some type of a small business related organization that is putting classes on all the time. So like tomorrow night, also SCORE. If you've never checked out SCORE, it's like retired. It's like SCORE mentoring, but it's retired guys that were in business, and they're there for free. Like they'll mentor you for free. And there's, I don't know, probably thousands of chapters across the United States. And so like tomorrow night, they're doing a social media marketing deal, and I think I'm going to go to that. It's like a 3-hour class, and I want to learn more about social media marketing. And so these types of things, I can guarantee you most businesses, most small businesses, especially if they got older owners and you're working in them, I can guarantee you that the owner, unless they're paying a lot of money, which a lot of them don't because they are still stuck in the past, they're not, they don't know social media marketing. And it's not extremely difficult to learn. Like if you just invest like probably 15 hours of your time, you could actually take that over for the company you work for. I mean, it's little things like this that, and you start collecting some extra money. Hey, let me do your social media marketing and, just pay me $100 a month and let me prove to you that I can get you more customers. And then once you start proving it, boom, now you've got some side money, and now you can start charging the boss more for the service that you're providing to the company that you run service calls for. Like you got to expand your mind. It's like what Gil and I say when you walk down to the basement, you got to take the blinders off and look around. There's opportunities all around you. It's not just, and don't be so zoomed in on just HVAC. There's lots of other things that you can do to help your company.
Well, yeah, it's multiple
Yes.
revenue streams. Like Kelly just said, if you can do that, okay, you get your paycheck every week, but you learn something like that where you can be on your off time helping your company, build their Facebook up. Guys, it's easy. It really is. I mean, we do it for the podcast. I mean, that's where sponsorships come in. I mean, guys, it's fucking easy, and companies are willing to pay you to do it. You would not believe that in 2018, I'd say there's so many companies that you wouldn't think do not have a social media presence. So, and it helps. Like I've seen what it's done for our company, and it's done wonders, and it's really, really not that hard. And if you learn how to do that, that can be a side job for you. Do it for your company and get really good. And then hell, you start advertising and do it for other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check those things, guys, out. Broaden your horizons, man. Like that's how you get, financial freedom, and you start to be able to live comfortably where you're not living week to week, and I mean, I don't want to go into a financial podcast, but I mean, that's how I was able to do that, between, doing a podcast, working like some rental properties, different things like that to be able to have different revenue streams that I know that there's always money coming in regardless, has helped me be able to live the kind of life that I want to live. And I strongly recommend that you guys do that too. And one thing that I heard, and not that I want to tell, I know it's not HVAC related, but real estate has made the most millionaires out of anything in the world. Okay. Actually, your buddy, Ty Lopez, says that.
How do you know? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, my buddy?
Well, I'm talking about, I know me and you talked about him. You said how you liked his class, but he made that statement where he says that real estate has made the most millionaires of any business, anything else in the world. So just dabble, guys, and when you're making that money in the summertime, bank it, put that shit away, invest in something. You know what I mean? Like try to, eventually our bodies are going to give out to where we might not be able to do this anymore. You're not going to be able to climb in these fucking attics. Your back's going to give out. Your legs are going to give out. I mean, you never know. So be smart with it. Do shit with that. And that's what I want to do, man. I'll say this. I mean, you guys know my dad passed. I love my dad. My dad was horrible with money, and he was not very good at investing. And if it wasn't for him getting money through the military, him and my mom would have struggled. And I always said, I don't want to be that. Plus, I have a brother who's like master's degree in business, a master's degree in finance. So, I mean, he's very smart with that and helps me. But that's what he always says, build up your equity, build up, I can't think of the word, build up assets, things that you own. Exactly. Things that you,
assets,
you're building up things that you have. Equity, building up equity that you have in things, and just carry you on for the future. So I'm no financial advisor, trust me, but just a little tip and things that's helped me get to where I am. So,
Yeah, I mean, the best advice I think when it comes to saving your money or getting to a point where you're just not paycheck to paycheck anymore, because that's a really like 75%. I just talked to another finance company that we're looking at using. Although Green Sky, anybody who's using Green Sky, which I know a lot of you guys do, it looks like they now have a second look option that's like automatic. If they don't qualify for the first one, it goes to the second one. So I think that's a great thing. That way we don't have to keep looking for other companies that might take a second look at somebody with not a less than perfect credit score. But this company that I was looking at, we're already signed up with them and everything. They're pretty cheap as far as what they charge me. They only have a very, a handful of plans, which is nice instead of having 50 like some of these other companies have. But he told me, and I don't know where he got it from, and I think I've heard the number be bigger before, but the bottom line is 75% of all Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 3 out of 4 people are living paycheck to paycheck. And I live paycheck to paycheck 34, 36 years of my life. So, and it's no fun being that. So the bottom line is you have to spend less than you earn. That's probably the best financial advice anybody can give you. Spend less than you earn. Get your debt paid off. Pay your credit cards off with the higher interest rate. Get those paid off faster because you'll save more money that way. And just get some money in the bank. Start an emergency fund so you're not putting. You have $1,000 unexpected expense pop up. You're not putting that on a credit card, and then you're in debt again. I use my credit cards, but as soon as I use them, I start paying them off. Like I'll pay a lot every month till they're paid off, and then if I want to do something again,
yeah, I'm the same way. I try to use I do use the credit cards, but only when I know I have the money to pay for it, only because I was building my credit back up. But guys, don't live outside of your means. Don't be one of them guys trying to keep up with the Joneses. Okay, you don't got nobody to impress. You know what I mean? Don't get yourself in debt because it looks good. Because somebody sees your new truck on Facebook, but they don't know that you're struggling to make that car payment every month. Live inside your means and try not to create a bunch of debt if you don't have to. Don't put yourself in that pinch. Like I've seen there's guys that can make $150,000 a year and they're still in debt because they spend $200,000 a year. But then you have a guy that makes $60,000 a year, but spends 30 and he's living financial free. So it's not necessarily the amount of money you make, it's your spending habits. And guys, I used to be the worst fucking spender in the world. Matter of fact, I'm still not great, but I've gotten better, and I do well enough that I'm able to, my splurges don't kill me like they used to. Because before I do it and I'm like, fuck, I just spent the rent on a vacuum pump or something. You know what I mean? Something stupid. But I've gotten better with that. But and then you guys, you have to, and I hate to make this a financial podcast, but this really is relevant. It really is, especially coming down at the end of the summer when guys, have been making all that money is, you have to be able to decipher between needs and wants. Do you need it or do you just want it? Okay. And if you just want it, then maybe that's something that needs to get pushed aside. If you need it, that's different. There's always got to be, and there's a lot of guys out there that can't have credit cards. I was like that for a long time. Back when I was an addict, me and my wife, man, credit wasn't an option because we had fucking butchered our credit so much that if I didn't have the cash to pay for it, it wasn't happening, So if the car broke and I didn't have, $1,500 cash to go pay for it, guess what? We didn't have a fucking car till I got it. And that sucks. It was horrible. And I never, ever wanted to live that way again. And I made sure that I was going to fucking come hell or high water, that was never going to happen again. And so far it's been good. Now I've been able to get myself out of that hole. Granted, this was years ago, but now I'm to a point where, hey, something breaks, I got the money to fix it. If I need to use a credit card, I'll use a credit card. But you guys know what I mean. There's a lot of guys out there, and some guys are doing well for themselves, and some guys aren't. Some guys are just starting out, and they don't know what they're doing with their money. If I was a new guy, fresh into it, and I'm making good money, I got no responsibilities, no kids, no nothing. Guys, invest that fucking money, man. Start putting money into your 401k. Start banking that shit, man. Think for your future, okay? So that you're able to retire when you're fucking 50 years old, because you've been sacrificing in your 20s rather than splurging on stupid shit. You've been putting that shit in your 401k or your IRA or whatever it may be. So now when you turn 50 and the rest of your friends are slaving away, fucking having back surgery because they're still going to work, and you're sitting in your paid off fucking house, playing golf every day, going fishing. So think about that stuff, guys. Don't wait for retirement when retirement comes to happen, because that's when it's too late. I've had these talks with my brother, and he's told me a lot. And like I said, my dad wasn't very good with it, and my brother always says, you need 20 good years to be able to retire. So, well, at least 20 good years to be able to retire. Obviously, the more, the better. So that's something everybody needs to think about. So I'll start with my financial.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish I would have started, well, the thing is some of the smaller companies that I worked for, they didn't offer that. They didn't offer a simple IRA or a 401k or any type of retirement where they would match a percentage. Like they just didn't offer it. So all my young years of working, I didn't have anything like that. So I can tell you right now, if your company has that, which most companies do, there's really no reason why any company shouldn't be doing it, because it's pre-taxed money. It helps the business out, and it also helps the employee out. You get like a 3% raise. Like I match 3%. You can put in 12% if you want to, but I'll match up to 3%. And if your company offers that, I just wanted to say and make sure that you get involved in it like now. Don't wait. Don't think that you won't even miss that money. When it starts coming out, trust me, you won't even miss it. And especially as you advance in your career and you continue to make more money, you buy my program Super Service and you start getting bonuses, then it'll more than make up for what you're being taken out. So it's true. It's start now. All you younger guys, start now. I'm telling you, we're old dogs here, and we've learned a lot of lessons in the 20 some years we've been in this business. So do it now. Start building your future retirement before your body breaks down and you can't continue to do this,
Yeah, I mean that's great advice. I mean, this is a young man's game. And I mean, I'm far from old. Kelly's a little bit older than me, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I still have a good amount of time left. But this is a young man's game. It is. Your body, your mind is gonna, your body is gonna age faster than your mind. So it's one of those things where you think you can do stuff, but your body's like, hey, dude, I'm not fucking doing that.
It's like, whoa.
And you want to be able to have options.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Get out of that fucking attic.
No, we no go in there, Gil. Apparently my inner conscious is Hispanic. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, but and you're not going to be able to do that. And real fast before we move on, even though we've almost taken up all of our time, but this is a good topic. I'm actually glad that this wasn't planned, guys, but I'm glad we brought this up. Is if your company does not offer, and like Kelly said, most of them should, if they do not offer some kind of 401k, get your own IRA. Go to your bank, tell them what you're trying to do, and maybe it's not an IRA, but talk to them and do it that way. But Kelly's right. You do want to do it through your work, because then you get it pre-taxed, because if you do it yourself, you're going to get taxed twice, because you're going to get taxed on your paycheck, obviously, and then you're going to get taxed when you go to take
not necessarily. You can do like a Roth IRA, and that's like I just started a Roth IRA myself, and some of my guys are starting one too, and that's after tax. So the way I understand it, you put it in there, you can take it out. It's almost like a savings account, but you get the benefit of the compound interest as it grows, because it is in the stock market. It is an IRA, but anything you put in, you can take back out, no penalties. It's anything above, because it will grow over time, and anything above that you pull out, you will have a penalty. You will have to pay the taxes on the money that's earned by the money you put in, if that makes sense.
No, actually, you're right, because I think that's what I have, a Roth. That's what my brother told me. I have one of those plus my 401k.
Yes, that's what I don't have a 401k because I'm a small company and there's a lot of fees involved with 401k, so we just do a simple IRA. It's really not a whole lot different, honestly. But the fees don't exist there. So, but it's more like for a bigger corporation. Typically 401ks are.
Yeah, no. Yeah, now that you say that, I think we're right. The one I keep calling it my 401k because we're all probably like close to being the same size as you. Maybe one or two more guys, or I don't know. But I don't think ours is a 401k either. Now that you say that, I think it is some kind of Roth IRA. But I know that I have two. I have one through the company and then one personally that I try to put money into. So I'm trying to retire tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm trying to go back.
It grows fast, man. It grows fast when you really start contributing to it. It's shocking. Like over the course of 5 years, you'll have a little chunk of money in there. So why we didn't start ours till probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Excuse me. And I got a little chunk of money in there. I'm happy with it, but it's really all I have. I wish I would have started when I was 20. I'd be rich biatch. No, not quite, but I'd have several $100,000 in there. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, me too.
Start young.
Yeah, I started late, but I've done pretty well. And then, but it's definitely not anywhere where I want it to be. I'd like to get more into the rental property game and stuff like that. Especially being somebody from the trades, we're mechanically inclined, even though now you can have companies that take care of it for you where all you do is get a check every month and you don't got to deal with the maintenance and shit like that. But
it's like a property management company or some bigger type of investment. But the thing is because we do HVAC is usually like one of the most expensive items that these houses need.
Yeah.
So that's always good that you can do it yourself.
Well, plus a lot of times we can do like minor with what we do in our trade. We can do minor like, faucets or, replacing a switch or an outlet, stupid shit like that I don't have to pay some electrician, a couple $100 to do it when it costs me, $15 in parts and takes me, 15 minutes to do it. So that definitely helps.
No, we're fucking. This is like, as far as being well-rounded, like I don't know any electricians in my area, and I'm not dissing all electricians. I'm just saying I don't know any electricians in my area that can come diagnose a wiring issue in a package unit. Like they're fucking lost when they get out there. They have no idea. And so, and I'm not saying that they're all that way, but I know. And I know that there's some really bright electricians in my area. They're great guys and they do great work, but they have a really tough time diagnosing shit that we're really good at because they're, most of them are really good at pulling wire, and some of them, are badass at diagnosing things when it comes to a house or a commercial building or something like that. But they get into a unit and they really struggle. If you had any experience with that, Gil, like, electrician that you guys work with having trouble with something and he can't figure it out. Have you ever had that?
Yeah. And you're actually right. I understand what you're saying. You get a lot of those electricians that they're not good at the control side.
No.
When it comes to them finding like high voltage things, I mean, bam, they're like you said, they'll find it in a heartbeat. But you start getting them to dig into the control circuit and stuff like that, they can't do it. And that all boils down to, which I've said 100 times, is you have to know how something works to be able to fix it, because therefore you know what it's not doing and what it's supposed to be doing. So these guys, even though they understand, electricity and how it works, they don't know what the system's supposed to be doing, and all they see is a bunch of wires. So that's a lot of
Sure,
times why they
that
have
makes
trouble.
sense.
And I even see it also in a lot of commercial guys who come down to residential. And you would think, okay, commercial stuff, that's the bigger stuff. These guys should be able to knock out residential stuff. And a lot of them do. I started out in the big stuff. But I know some guys that work for big companies that a buddy of mine told me he works for a bigger company around here. And he said that he had to go out. I guess they got big and got busy and sent one of the commercial guys to a residential job just to fill in. And he had to go out there and help him. And I forget what it was, but it was something like stupid low voltage wise. And this commercial guy, apparently he's one of their good commercial guys, couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
It's not really that much different. It's just altogether split, but it happens.
Yeah. But that was my point. Is my main point of the story is just that this is a well-rounded trade. Like we can do plumbing, we can do a lot of the plumbing stuff. We can do, and if you have water source heat pump in your area, then you're dealing with some water there. We've probably all, if you've been in the trade for any amount of time, you've changed a hot water heater before, or hundreds. And so we do a lot of times when we're doing rough ends on a construction house, which we don't do very many of them, but I've done a fair share amount in 10 years, we're running the flues for them. That's the hardest part of setting the hot water heater up. So I'm just saying this is a well-rounded trade. You've seen that cartoon for years, probably. I know some of the supply houses had it up for a while in our area. That's like, I'm just saying we're a well-rounded group of people. When you get some experience under your belt, if you've been in the trade for a while, you're pretty well-rounded. You can fix almost anything in your house.
No, definitely. That's a very true statement. And I would never, and I wouldn't consider myself an electrician. I'm not a plumber, but our trade has to have a little bit of each things, plus our own part of our trade, that I agree. It makes us well-rounded to be able to do a lot of those things. So I definitely agree with that. I guess this kind of took up a lot of time. So do you have anything in your segment you want to touch on this week?
Now, here's Go Make Money with Kelly McKay.
What's up, guys? So I just wanted to talk about job titles. Job titles really mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. You have to, when it comes to leadership and, check out John C. Maxwell stuff. He's got the 5 levels of leadership. He says the first level is a position or a title. So that's all it is a title. And that position, just because you've been given that title or you're in that position, doesn't make you a good leader. It is the first step in leadership, but it's more like an invitation to leadership, because others, they only have to follow you because of that position that you've been given. They don't have. That's the only reason. So this is the time that the person given the title can start to develop the necessary skills to move up the ladder of leadership. So people put little effort into their jobs when made to follow a level 1 leader. And to gain more from your people, you must move to level 2. And at level 2, the person given the title starts to gain the trust of the team. So that's just building trust. Once you get the trust and they believe in you, and you actually start building some teamwork, that's level 2. At level 3, the team starts to actually produce results for their leader that actually affect and move the needle in the business. So productivity rises and the leader starts to gain momentum. And this is a direct correlation as the leader increases his communication skills and his people skills. Level number 4 is when the leader starts to develop the people on his team and builds them up by giving them the tools they need to advance in the company. So they must, they have to place their people in the right positions and recognize strengths and weaknesses. And, during this entire process, the person who's been given the title must continue to work on themselves, or they'll never even reach level 4. Level 5 is when the people respect and love your qualities. They follow because of what you have done and the results that you've helped them achieve. But one thing when it comes to leadership is that you need to shed the fear of someone taking your place or outperforming you. This is a big thing. This is a sign of someone who's immature, and immaturity is going to stop the progress of the entire team and the business. So I think sometimes we automatically will hold ourselves back, hold the companies back because we're afraid that somebody might be better than you or outperform you, especially if it's something that you've been doing for quite some time. I'm saying don't be afraid to pass the ball and let them take it, because that's what's going to help move the team. Not that they're going to take your position, because you've earned your position, you've been there and you've worked hard for it, but don't hold your people back by being immature and worrying about them outperforming you. So that's all I got.
No, that's good, man, and that's so true. I mean, titles really don't. It really doesn't mean much. It's more about creating value in yourself and what you do, how you perform your job, what you do, whether you lead by example. Somebody can look at you and be like, fuck, I want to do what that guy does. Just how you carry yourself in your day-to-day job, your demeanor, and all things that me and Kelly have already talked about. But all those little things, they all come into play, whether you're a manager, a senior tech, or you're just a fucking regular worker. It doesn't matter. That title doesn't mean anything. I mean, sometimes those titles bring maybe some more pay and stuff like that, but it doesn't make you who you are. It really doesn't. It doesn't really mean a whole lot, like Kelly said, in the grand scheme of things. I know we all want to achieve higher levels, but those core principles are what's going to get you those titles in the long run. So I'm actually glad you said this. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, you just have to continue to invest in yourself. Like we were talking about earlier, take some courses. What Gil was talking about is Ty Lopez. You remember, most of you probably know who Ty Lopez is because you watch YouTube. And if you watch YouTube, then he's the guy on the pre-roll. And pre-roll is the video that pops up before that you have to skip, to get past, to get to the video you actually want to watch. It's paid advertising. And I'm currently taking one of his classes that's social media marketing, because I want to learn more about that. And don't know if I picked the right guy to teach me or whatever. It's actually not even him half the time teaching it on the course. But, this day and age, you can learn anything you want, anything. Just go search for a class and take it. Spend some money on yourself. Because it's going to have the best return on your investment ever. Yeah,
definitely. And you guys have seen Ty Lopez. I mean, he's like the Hispanic looking guy who's got like a ginormous fucking house with like $9 million in cars in the background. Like, hey man, I just wanted to give you this free knowledge. Oh yeah, that's my Lamborghini in the back. But really, the reason I'm making this video is, oh yeah, that's my Porsche. I just wanted to tell you, just kidding. But the guy's a smart dude. He does give good information, and he obviously is wealthy. I mean, no matter how you think he comes off, the guy must know something about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we took up a lot of, we really, hey, me and Kelly do whatever the fuck we want on this podcast. Whatever you want to talk about, we talk about. So we didn't really do much on the segments this time. But I'm going to go ahead and kick into my segment, even though it's kind of going to roll off of what Kelly just said. So you guys just sit right tight. Hold on a fucking minute. So hold your cocks, your boobs, whatever you got. Pew, pew. And we'll be right back.
Now time to Say What with Gil Cavey.
Hey guys, this is Gil here with HVAC Uncensored podcast with the Say What segment. So let's go talk about some HVAC. Yeah. It's like, no, what we were just talking about before, I guess kind of carries on. I wanted to talk about, and it's funny because me and Kelly really didn't. I've been so busy. We didn't talk about anything that we were going to talk about this podcast. And it's just funny that we've kind of picked the same thing, is, I guess, setting yourself apart from the people that you work with. And I guess I see I see it too much where guys, it's not even just disgruntled. Like you'll be doing the right things, but then you'll see some other guy getting away with doing something wrong or not doing it, and like the boss not saying something to him, and you're like, well, fuck it. Why am I doing this if he's not doing it? Guys, that's a fucking horrible attitude to have. Worry about yourself. One thing, and Kelly, you can chime in on this, is being a manager and owner. One of the things that sucks is when somebody comes in to talk to you and they're like, oh, well, Billy always does this, and, fucking Tito and Michael Jackson or whatever always do this. And you don't want to hear that. Come in and talk about yourself. Why the fuck are you worried about them? Like, don't build your career or build how you carry yourself based on what somebody else does. If you worry about what you do every day, when you show up, what you're doing when you show up, how you carry yourself, like we talked about before, the schooling, trying to better yourself, that's what you need to worry about. It doesn't matter what somebody else does. And I know from the grand scheme of things, yeah, it might suck if a guy fucks up and he gets callbacks and you got to go behind him and stuff like that. But hey, that's the boss or the manager's job to worry about. You just fucking, yeah, hey boss, I'll do it with a fucking smile on your face and knock it the fuck out. And they're going to remember that. You're like, hey man, fuck Gil. Every time I need something done, man, I've never heard the guy complain once. He always fucking does it. He knocks it out. He's here every day. If I need him to work on a weekend when he's not on call, he does it. Like those little things add up. And I feel like sometimes guys, they're so fucking worried about what the other guy's doing. And guys, that is it's a disease. If you get that way, it is only going to cause you pain and heartache. I promise you, there's nothing good will come of it. I don't know how you feel about that, Kel.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes back to, some of you guys know I'm in CEO Warrior, and Mike Aguilera, he was a powerhouse. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. He's the hardest working guy that I know. He works nonstop, and he's got the results to prove it. But the thing is he did a speech, and I'm just certain it was public, and it was called "Be the Victim or the Victor." And so if you get a chance to search that on YouTube, or not YouTube, I'm sorry, which it could be on YouTube, but search Facebook for, just type in like Mike Aguilera, Victor or Victim, and he talks about this, and it's so true. And it's in all like self-improvement type books, but the bottom line is everything that you are, everything that you currently do, everything that you've done, it's all your fault. Good or bad, right, wrong, indifferent. Own it. Be responsible for it. This is the first step to moving past the old shit and getting past your old mindset that's holding you back in your life. Like, own this shit. Yes, I fucked up. Yes, I should have fucking left. Yes, I should have fucking asked for this. I shouldn't have fucking stole that. I shouldn't have fucking, just own it. It was your fault. You did it. Own it. Then move past that and say, okay, now what do I want? And make sure that everything the way you think, the way you talk, the way you act, if it's not getting you what you want, change it. Bottom line, because it's like the one bad apple ruins the bunch. If you don't want to be that one guy in the company that's bringing everybody else down. And, most of the time, these people who are like this get pushed out of the pack, if you get what I'm saying, because you just can't keep your team morale up when somebody, as soon as they step foot out the doors, they're talking shit on everybody else that's not around them. So I hope that hits on what you're talking about, man.
Yep.
They're the cancer, yeah.
They're the cancer.
It's like fucking termites, or whatever. They're eating away the foundation of the company by talking shit on everybody every time they step outside of the door. So don't be that guy. You know what? Own your shit. Stop worrying about other people. Get the fuck up, be a man or be a woman, and handle your shit and do better. anytime we fail all day long. Like everybody fails all day long with negative thoughts. Like negative thoughts will happen. They happen to everybody. It's not that you can stop that shit from happening. It's going to happen, but it's what you do with it. If you decide to let that become your way of thinking, well, then pretty soon it becomes your personality. And so often that's what happens to people. Man, I've seen in the last 10 years, like I've come across lots of people who are just cynical. They're cynical about everything. They've given up. The bottom line is they've given up on life. They've given up on their dreams. And it's fucking sad. And there's just nothing. Oftentimes it takes the person wanting to change before it will ever change. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how often you say it. It doesn't matter. They'll turn it right back around. And man, I've just been through this shit. And it's horrible and it's sad. And I've got people, I've got family members that I don't talk to anymore. And that's because of that shit. I'm not going to be around it. I'm not going to be exposed to it. It does me no good, period, to be around them. And it doesn't get me what I ultimately want. No, it plants bullshit in my head and makes me start questioning, my progression, where I'm going, where I want to go. And I don't want to question it. I believe it's going to happen. I want to continue to believe it's happened. So sometimes you got to get away from people.
Yeah. I mean, and when it comes to work, sometimes that guy can be an awesome tech, but he's got a shitty personality and just doesn't fit. And it's hard to let that guy go because his work is good, but that the bad outweighs the good, and you got to cut him loose. And it stinks, guys. Nobody is ever going to give you shit. Okay. Anything you want in life, you need to bust your fucking ass and get it yourself. Okay. Nobody's going to knock on your door and be like, hey man, here's a fucking $1 million. I want you to relax the rest of your life. That's not the real world, man. And I know there's a lot of millennials, and I guess technically I'm close to that. No, I don't know if I'm a millennial or not, but I know I don't have that I am definitely old school value mentality that, my dad taught me that you work for everything that you fucking get, that nobody's going to fucking give you a goddamn thing. That's the way it's got to be. You always want to be the best you that you can possibly be, to get what you want. And as far as like the mentality thing, guys, I used to be one of the worst people that I would let stupid thoughts get in my head and it would just ruin my mood. Something so minute I would let it just stick, and a good day would turn to a fucking shitty day, and I'd just be pissed off. You would see like my work output, everything would change. And now I've gotten to the point where, for one, I don't worry about things that I can't control, because there's no point in wasting fucking brain power on it, because it's not going to solve anything. Two is, those negative things, like Kelly said, if you make a mistake, hey, you fucking own it. Hey, my bad, I fucked up, and move on with it. Three is that if something bad happens or a bad thing, I deal with it or whatever, and then I move on to something positive, because I'm not going to let something so stupid just ruin my mood. Like, I'm a fun guy. I'm happy. I'm always joking around. That's how I like to be. I don't like to be pissed off and miserable. That's just not fun for anybody. It's not fun for people who are around me. It's not fun for me to be that way. So I do everything in my power to not let that happen. And we all have bad things that happen in our lives. It's not like I'm all happy-go-lucky, lollipops and rainbows. I mean, no, I have shit that happens. I just don't let it fucking get to me, because it's just, there's no point. I'm not going to live all stressed out, fucking worrying about this and worried about that. Even before, we talked about the money stuff earlier, when, I had a bill and I didn't have the money to pay for it. Hey, it is what it is. Me fucking worrying myself to death is not going to make fucking my bank account double. So, hey, when I get the money, I'll pay for it. I mean, and I know that's not a good thing, but it is what it is. I mean, me fucking worrying myself to give myself a fucking heart attack it's not going to help anything. So I guess I won't beat that topic anymore. The whole moral of this podcast, guys, is being the best fucking you that you can be. And you taking control of what happens in your life. It's nobody else's fault if something fucked up happens to you. It's nobody else's fault if you don't do good at your job. It's nobody else's fault that something bad happens to you and blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand is you wanted to be, when you get that promotion, you got that because of you, because of your fucking hard work. You get that new job where you're making more money. You fucking earned it. Okay. Now all of a sudden you go on calls and you don't question yourself at all. You just know it because of all those extra classes that you took in, those nights that you stayed up taking online classes when you could have been sleeping. Okay. That benefited you. That you can go on vacation now because you've been putting your money away and you stopped fucking buying
video games every time the next video game comes out, that you might play for 8 hours and then you put it away and don't ever play it again. Then you go, or you trade it in for fucking $5, and put it towards the next one. So, well, I just say one thing is that no matter what you decide you want or how you're going to get it, just like Gil said, the struggle's guaranteed. I fucking promise you it's going to be a struggle. Nothing's easy. Nothing in this life is easy. Nothing in this world is easy. It's not easy to earn a raise. It's not easy to up your tickets by $300. None of this shit's easy.
But it's possible.
But it's possible. Absolutely possible. But if you want to be that cynical person and say, oh, I can't do that. I can't, this is the problem is we start judging. We judge before we test. So when somebody suggests something to you, hey, why don't you try it this way? Well, I can't do that, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you automatically start judging. We're all guilty of this. We've all done it. But until you tried it, stop judging it. Try it. And don't just try it once. Like try it for 15 days. And make your own judgment. Did it work? Did it not work? Did I get a bonus? Did I not get more bonuses? Whatever the case, no matter what the journey, the bottom line is the struggle is going to happen. What I was going to say is that the struggle is certain, but the success is not, because it's just up to you. Everything's up to you. It's what you make of it.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say there for a second, but let me try to think of it. One thing is, and it might sound cliche and sound stupid, but I went and saw a motivational speaker a long time ago, and I remember what I was going to say, but I'll say afterwards. Is never say I can't. He said every time you think you're going to say I can't, say I can. So when you're going to say like I can't do this, say I can do this, and just keep doing that for a little bit. And it's amazing how something so small can have such a big change on the outcome of things that you do. Just by changing your mindset and not using words like I can't, I won't, things like that. And, saying I will, I can. And I know it sounds dumb, but God, it's so big and it's very, very powerful, man, when you start to implement that kind of stuff in your life. But the other thing I was going to say, and somebody gave me this cliche a while ago, it says things that you do in life is almost kind of like working out. Anybody who's ever worked out and substantially knows that building muscle and working out happens over time. You can't go to the gym once and all of a sudden you come out and you're fucking Hulk Hogan. That's not the way it works. It's a little bit each day over a long period of time. You see the results. Well, that's the same way that things happen in life is you keep putting those pieces together. You work out a little bit each day. And then a couple of months down the road, that's when you start to see those changes, whether it's with all the things we talked about, whether it's financial, putting time into yourself, reflection on your attitude, your invoices, and any of those topics. It's not something we can't have that instant gratification. And they use that when in the drug addict term is, drug addicts always want that instant gratification. Well, that's almost a thing in our custom nowadays in this country is we want that instant gratification. We want to do something and we want automatically something to happen from it. And if it doesn't, we're like, fuck it, that was a waste of time. But that's not true. keep doing it. Keep going. And that thing you did 6 months ago, you might not see the result of it, until down the road, but you're going to have a result. So just stick with it and just keep following through, man. Keep grinding. Life is a fucking grind. It's a race that you're the turtle. It's a long haul. You're not going to get there. You're not going to get there fast. And like Kelly said before about, the struggle is real. It's that anybody who's ever been anywhere has had a struggle. I mean, yeah, you get some of these millionaires who were born with that silver spoon in their mouth, stuff like that. But even their family member who got that family rich went through a struggle to get to where they are. Nobody gets to the top without falling down a few times. That's just, there's no fucking way. There's no way that happens. But I don't know. I guess we've given our motivational financial fucking podcast of the week.
This has been Motivation, starring Kelly and Gil. Yeah, no, yeah, it's one of those things, though. It's so true. It's the what you were talking about, like, say I can. Stop saying I can't. Say I can. This, guys, there's like, this shit has been studied for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, that your brain doesn't know the difference. Like in the 60s or 70s, Olympic athletes started visualizing, going through their routines or doing their whatever skill that they do, whether they're a pole vaulter or they do those horse things, or they ski and they do the big jumps or whatever, or they whatever. They had these yeah have orgy sex with other Olympians. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 60s, I think it's like the 60s or 70s. It could have even been like as late as like the early 80s, which they started realizing that, and I talked about this in my book, is that you can take a group of people and you have, let's say you take 30 people, and the goal is to get better at free throws. Well, the first group, they don't practice and they don't visualize shooting free throws. And then they test them, and then 3 months later they test them again. Well, what do you know? There was no improvement. They actually may have gotten a little worse. The next group only visualized shooting free throws. So they tested them at the beginning, then they visualized for however many weeks, and then they came back and tested them again. Then the other group visualized and actually practiced shooting free throws. Or maybe they just practiced shooting free throws and didn't visualize. I can't remember. But the bottom line is, the percentage that they improved was like 24% or something, both groups. And it's like the group that actually shot free throws was like improvement of like, and then I'm just throwing this number out here, is like 25%. But the group that only visualized it was like 24%. Like 1% less than the people who actually shot free throws. So this shit works. I don't care who you are or what you think or believe. It's just been proven time and time again that what you think about, you bring about. So if you're thinking shit all day long, and you're thinking, I'm going to get fired and blah, 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 and your actions actually, because what's going to happen is your body, your actions, your thoughts are going to be congruent with what you're saying to yourself, with this negative self-talk. And once you get incongruent, I guarantee you it's going to happen. You're going to get fired. Where the opposite can happen if you continue to tell yourself, positive thoughts, or affirmations. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. I am so happy and grateful now that I am so happy and grateful now that an abundance of money comes to me through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I am so happy and grateful now that an abundance of money comes to me through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Like, I say these things to myself because I want more in my life. And the bottom line is, the more I think this and the more I program my brain for it, my brain will recognize the opportunities around me. All right, it's time to wrap it up. We talked way too long in this one, so Gil.
Sorry, it's better when I unmute my microphone. Yeah, guys, we went over a little bit more this week, but to be honest, this was not planned, but I am actually very happy with the outcome. I actually like the stuff that we covered, and it's different, guys. If anybody knows, man, there's no podcast like us. We don't like to be like anybody else. We are ourselves. We are HVAC Uncensored. We talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. And we'll change back and forth. We'll go in different avenues. We have some guests that are going to be coming up here soon that are in the works, but I really, really like this. I think this is a good topic. And at the end of the summer, I think this was a good time to have it. I'm really, really happy with the way this podcast turned out. I really am. But go ahead, Kelly. You start off, buddy. We'll go ahead and close this thing out, man.
Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Be sure to jump into the Facebook group and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, HVAC Uncensored, and my YouTube channel, HVAC Millionaire. So, guys, thank you so much. Once again, we actually would wish we could just thank each and every one of you, because it means a lot to us, all this support that you give us, and we're so grateful. So, guys, go make money.
Yeah, guys, once again, another podcast down, episode 10. Sorry, I was wrong. I was a podcast off, episode 10. Yeah, man, we thank each and every one of you, man. This has been an awesome ride. We are so happy with where we are in such a short time frame. And that would not be possible without you guys, man. You guys are fucking awesome. You rock. And we thank you guys so much, man. As you always know, download the podcast. We're on iTunes podcast app, the Google Play Store. We're on the Stitcher app. I'm in the process now of trying to get on Spotify and SoundCloud. I'm trying to get us on more platforms. If there's any platform that we're not on that you want us to be on, hit us up. Remember, you guys, we have our website now, which is www.hvac-uncensored.com, which that's constantly growing. And also, you guys can always email us at www.hvac-uncensored@gmail.com. And me and Kelly are very good about responding to emails. So thank you, guys. Remember, always set yourself apart. Try to do what the next guy's not doing. Be safe. And we'll see you next week. I love you guys. Some of you guys go fuck yourself, but I love most of you. And peace, bitches. We're fucking out of here.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.